Thank you, President Jim. I'd like to take this opportunity to first thank all of our guests for coming today, and I want to introduce some of our guests right now, so I'm going to take a few minutes to do that. On my far right at the speaker's table is Joan Stadt, representing Assemblyman R. Stephen Hawley. And next to Joan, we have Genesee County Legislator Mary Pat Hancock. And on my right, with the Honorable John Sheffer, New York State Senator. And I know you've already met our President Jim, our Secretary Kelly Lent, and our Treasurer Joan Stevens. We have a few other people here that I'd like to mention their names today. There's so many out here that I know it's difficult. If I missed anybody, I apologize. But I would like to mention that we do have at the table the Chairman of the Genesee County Legislature, Mr. Carl Perkowski. Where are you, Carl? There he is. Batavia City Councilman at Large, Paul Weiss. Where are you, Paul? There you are. We were to have with us today Commander of Troop A, Major Salvatore Valvo of the State Police, but apparently I guess he had to spend some time in Albany, probably just before his transfer. We have Genesee County Sheriff Gary Maya, sitting right in front of me here. City of Batavia Police Chief David Mullen. Village of LeRoy Police Department Chief Sam Stefanella. There you are, sir. And from Buffalo, we have the Inspector in charge of the Western New York Division, the Postal Inspection Service, Mr. Ron Turlip, right down here. And I believe, sitting across from him, we have the Special Agent in charge of the Western New York Office of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Mr. Tom Coyle. The bad that men do will long be remembered, but the good will lie interred within their bones. This statement was made over 150 years ago by Edgar Allan Poe, and today it is just as true as it was then. It seems that you cannot pick up a newspaper or turn on television without hearing something negative about the law enforcement profession. But like most news stories, we never hear about the positive aspects of police work or the sacrifices that are made to protect the citizens of this country. On a 3-acre parcel of federal parkland in Washington, D.C., there stands a memorial consisting of 2 elliptical marble walls bordered on both sides by District of Columbia Superior Court buildings. On the south end of this magnificent memorial are 4 bronze statues of an adult lion and 4 cubs that symbolize the protective role of our law officers and convey the strength, courage, and valor that are hallmarks of those who serve the law enforcement profession. This memorial is not about nightmares of the past. It is about dreams of a brighter future. And as stated on the inscription, in valor there is hope. This memorial contains 12,900 names of fallen officers who have made the supreme sacrifice while protecting the citizens of this great country. And as you walk down the pathways of remembrance and read these names, you know that they will never be forgotten. Names like Special Agent Benjamin P. Grogan and Special Agent Jerry L. Duff, Federal Bureau of Investigation, killed in the line of duty. Enrique Camarena, United States Drug Enforcement Administration, killed in the line of duty. Police Officer Michael J. Healy, United States Postal Inspection Service, killed in the line of duty. Police Officer Sandra Ann Robbins, South Houston Police Department, killed in the line of duty. Deputy Robert S. Insulaco, Erie County Sheriff's Department, killed in the line of duty. Trooper Alvin Paul Cordes, New York State Police, killed in the line of duty. right here in Genesee County. Today, this program is dedicated to them and all of our brothers and sisters who have made the supreme sacrifice. As President Coolidge once said, this nation which forgets its defenders will itself be forgotten. We will never forget. America will never forget. We are also here today to honor all of the officers here and to their entire departments for their ongoing efforts and dedication to providing this country with the service and protection 24 hours a day that make this the safe community that we all enjoy. At this time, I'd like to introduce Genesee County Legislator Mary Pang Hancock, who would like to read a presentation and present to Kiwanis Club President Jim Canty. Jim, where are you?
Thanks, President. Okay, good.
President Canty, whereas the mission of law enforcement is to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence or disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression or intimidation, and by caring for the victims of crime. And whereas dedication and commitment of law enforcement officers while standing up against lawlessness are imperative ingredients for a safe and secure environment, and whereas the supreme sacrifice of those officers who have lost their lives in the line of official duty must never be forgotten or taken for granted, and whereas the President of the United States, George Bush, has designated the week of May 10th through the 16th, 1992 as National Law Enforcement Week, and whereas the Kiwanis Club of Batavia will host the second annual Law Enforcement Recognition Day on May 14, 1992, to honor and recognize the outstanding efforts of the people who have assumed the responsibility for safeguarding our citizens. Now therefore be it resolved that the Genesee County Legislature does hereby proclaim Thursday, May 14, 1992, as Law Enforcement Recognition Day in Genesee County, and commends the members of the New York State Police, Genesee County Sheriff's Department, the City of Batavia Police Department, and the Village of LeRoy Police Department for unceasingly providing this vital public service and playing an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens of Genesee County. And it is signed by the Chairman of the Genesee County Legislature, Carl J. Prokowski, and attested to by the Deputy Clerk of the Legislature, Kathleen Jasinski. Congratulations.
Mrs. Hancock, thank you so much for this presentation. I'm very pleased that you could be here to help us recognize law enforcement officers, and we're real pleased to do this, and we intend on continuing this. Again, I thank you so much for this proclamation. Thank you.
I have more.
For me?
No, I have a copy of this proclamation for the New York State Police Department, and I was going to deliver it to your captain, but this is
Captain Bob Brown.
Captain Bob Brown. Congratulations, Captain Browning. Sheriff Maher, I have a copy of this proclamation for your department with our sincere congratulations. Captain David Mullen, I have a copy of the proclamation for your department as well, and I certainly give you my congratulations as well. And we have a copy of the proclamation for the Village of LeRoy Police Department, and perhaps Captain Stefanella could... is that the right term? Tell me, Tim, is it right? Chief, excuse me. I'm always very respectful of the law.
I would now at this time like to welcome and ask that Joan Stadt, would you like to say a few words in representing Assemblyman R. Stephen Hawley? Kind of losing names.
Okay. Thank you, President Jim, Chairman John, honored guests, members of the Kiwanis Club of Batavia. I am pleased to be here today on behalf of Assemblyman Hawley to honor a group of dedicated public servants on the second annual Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. Law enforcement personnel are an integral part of our society. These individuals, Trooper Joe DeBergalis, Genesee County Deputy Jim Mayer, City Police Investigator Daryl Sims, and Village of LeRoy Officer Chris Hayward, deserve the respect and appreciation for their never-ending assistance to the community they serve. There can be no civilized society without the rule of law, and there can be no rule of law without those whose lives are committed to upholding the law. Police officers are unique individuals. Normally, when someone banishes a gun, an average citizen would run away. Yet, a police officer tries to disarm such a person. Being a police officer, as you know, requires a distinctive disposition that only these people possess. The job of a police officer involves not only patrolling the community streets, but wearing the hats of many professions. The officers become doctors for the individuals and the injured, since they are usually the first ones to respond to accidents. Police officers also become psychologists for the confused, who may want to harm themselves or harm others. At domestic violence incidents, they become mediators at an attempt to restore peace. Most importantly, police officers become role models and teachers for our children. The lines of communication need to remain open between the law enforcement and the communities they assist. Without one another, they could not exist. Rising crime rates make it imperative that both the state and the municipalities continue their efforts at hiring and retaining sufficient number of competent law enforcement officers. In addition, officers must be continuously informed of recent changes in criminal procedure to preclude having evidence suppressed because it is improperly obtained. Here again, communication is the best. Our hearts go out to the courageous individuals who wear the badge of a police officer. Acknowledging Law Enforcement Day gives us the opportunity to thank them for all their arduous work. To the men and women in uniform, whose motto is to serve and protect, we thank you for the continuance of a job well done. Congratulations to the ones who will be honored later for an exceptional job well done this past year, and best wishes to the officers who comprise the great team, the teams that work together, whether it be state, county, city, or village. It's been a pleasure to be able to join you today on this occasion, and Assemblyman Hawley sends his best and thanks you for the opportunity to be able to participate in this great occasion. And we'll do the citations later? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Joan. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce an outstanding member of this community, and I'd like to present to you at this time the Honorable John Sheffer, New York State Senator.
Thanks, John. Thank you very much. For a lot of reasons, I feel privileged to join in recognizing and celebrating the contribution of these 4 police agencies and these 4 officers of the year, and join with Kiwanis Club of Batavia in recognizing those tremendous contributions. I have 4 citations for the officers of the year. I won't take time to read them, but suffice it to say that they attempt to pay tribute to the time and energy and talent and commitment and love that goes into being a law enforcement officer. I guess it's part of making a community a community. I think it was a week ago tonight, I was privileged to be the speaker at a DARE graduation in LeRoy schools. And as some of you know, that's a program for kids, in that case 6th graders. And in watching them at that program and seeing them accept their awards, and some of them speak, that was a group of enthusiastic kids who had self-esteem and were proud that they didn't want anything to do with drugs or alcohol. It's the LeRoy police and a lot of police departments around the state that make that program happen. And there's a lot to the job, as everyone in this room knows, other than the things that we all think about in public safety and law enforcement. In Albany, we deal with a lot of bills that have either a direct or an indirect impact on law enforcement. And I remember a few years ago, we were dealing with one that would essentially say that any toy gun in New York State would have to have 3 yellow stripes on it. And, of course, the purpose was obvious, to try to distinguish real guns from toy guns. And it was being debated. I was in the Assembly at the time, on the floor of the Assembly, and just trying to think of all of the implications of that. And, you know, you try and put yourself in those shoes. And I thought of, if I was a law enforcement officer and called to possible robbery in a local store, and I go check that out, and I see in the store, say, a 15-year-old kid. And he sees me, and the next thing I know, he's drawing up a gun pointed at my head that has 3 yellow stripes on it. And I say to myself, now, is this a kid with a toy gun, or is this a guy who, for deception purposes, puts 3 yellow stripes on his gun and is about to blow my head off? And I say to myself, law enforcement, that this is just one tiny example of law enforcement being one tough job, and the debt that all of us in this community and throughout the state and country owe to those who are serving that extraordinarily difficult role every day. On behalf of certainly all of us in the state legislature, and for the role that the state troopers and right through every municipal and county level of government, we're all very grateful, and I'm proud to join with you in recognizing and celebrating the contribution that they've made. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Senator Shepherd. There is one more thing that I'd like to read to you. It's a letter. I'll read part. I won't read the whole letter. I'll read part of it. It says, I regret that I'm unable to be with you on this occasion. My legislative duties in the Senate require me to be in Washington during this time. Please convey my personal greetings and best wishes to all those in attendance. Warmest regards, yours truly, Alphonse D'Amato, United States Senator. At this time, I'd like to ask if Senator Sheffer and Joan Statt would kindly join me up at the podium up here.
Okay.
Sheriff's Deputy James M. Meyer began his career in law enforcement on October 4th, 1986, as a corrections officer with the Genesee County Sheriff's Department. On October 19, 1987, he was appointed a deputy sheriff following completion of training at the Monroe County Criminal Justice Training Center at Monroe Community College, followed by 12 weeks of field training and evaluation with the Genesee County Sheriff's Department. Deputy Meyer is a certified breathalyzer operator, a certified radar operator, and is qualified as an expert in firearms. Deputy Meyer has completed courses in basic interrogation, driving while intoxicated enforcement, highway drug interdiction, and hazardous materials. Deputy Meyer was awarded a Meritorious Service Award in 1989 by the Genesee County Sheriff's Department and was selected the department's Officer of the Year in 1991, and has been the recipient of several letters of appreciation from the citizens of the community. Deputy Meyer is a lifelong resident of Genesee County and has attended Genesee Community College and the University of Buffalo. Deputy Meyer is married and for hobbies enjoys golf, football, weightlifting, and bicycling. At this time, please welcome from the Genesee County Sheriff's Department, Deputy James M. Meyer. Okay, I'll read this on behalf of our president. 1992 Officer of the Year in recognition to Deputy James M. Meyer, Genesee County Sheriff's Department, for exemplary service and dedication to the community, Kiwanis Club of Batavia. Congratulations, sir. Officer Christopher K. Hayward began his career in law enforcement on June 21st, 1984, with the Village of LeRoy Police Department, following completion of training at the Erie County Department of Central Police Services at the Erie County Community College in Buffalo. Officer Hayward, who is an expert in firearms, has been credited with the setting up of a computer program that improves the efficiency of record keeping involving warrants, verification and correction of crime reports, and various other tasks involving department recording procedures, including interaction with the Nicebin terminal. Officer Hayward's duties also include that of property clerk, which includes the strict accountability of incoming and outgoing property, and is also responsible for all record keeping involving police department property. Officer Hayward assisted the Chief of Police in drafting general orders and making suggestions for changes in departmental policy toward the New York State accreditation for police departments, and has been instrumental in setting up an operation which identified individuals who had sold alcoholic beverages from licensed establishments in the community to underage minors. Officer Hayward, who lives in LeRoy with his wife and daughter, is a lifelong resident of LeRoy and is a graduate of LeRoy Central School. His hobbies include traveling with his wife and daughter, volleyball, carpentry, and computers. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from the Village of LeRoy Police Department, Officer Christopher K. Hayward. '92 Officer of the Year in recognition to Officer Christopher K. Hayward, Village of LeRoy Police Department, for exemplary service and dedication to the community, Kiwanis Club of Batavia. Congratulations, Chris. Trooper Joseph P. DeBergalis began his career in law enforcement with the New York State Police on March 30th, 1987. Trooper DeBergalis returned to Troop A in Batavia in July of 1991, following a tour of duty in Delavan and Cattaraugus County. By the end of that year, Trooper DeBergalis made a total of 575 vehicle and traffic arrests, including 31 for DWI, 14 drug interdiction arrests, 5 felony and 58 misdemeanor arrests. Bet you're wondering where I got these figures from. Earlier this year, acting on a tip, for 1992, Trooper DeBergalis has already made 235 vehicle and traffic arrests, which include 9 DWI, 26 penal law arrests, and several drug interdiction arrests. Earlier this year, acting on a tip from Genesee County Crime Stoppers, he arrested 3 subjects in the act of burglarizing an establishment in the town of Alabama. On another occasion, while patrolling Interstate 490 in the town of LeRoy, Trooper DeBergalis made a traffic stop which led to the arrest of 3 occupants for possession of cocaine. One of the occupants was an escapee from New York City, and another a parole violator. Trooper DeBergalis is also a Project Learn presenter and has visited schools in Genesee County to inform students in the dangers of drug use. He is also a field training officer assigned to new recruits leaving the academy. Trooper DeRegales is a recipient of numerous commendations from Troop Commander Major Valvo and Zone Commander Lieutenant McManus. Trooper DeRegales comes from a law enforcement family and is a native of Buffalo. His father served as a detective with the Buffalo Police until his career ended following an injury. He also has 3 cousins presently in law enforcement. Trooper DeRegales has a master's degree in criminal justice from SUNY Buffalo and is presently working on a doctorate degree. Trooper DeRegales' hobbies include the martial arts, where he holds a black belt in karate and is also an avid offshore boat racer. This year, the FBI and National Child Safety Council named him the national spokesman in the Race Against Drugs program for the American Powerboat Association. Please welcome, from the New York State Police, Trooper Joseph P. DeRegales.
Congratulations. Thank you.
1992 Officer of the Year in recognition to Trooper Joseph P. DeRegales, New York State Police, for exemplary service and dedication to the community, Kiwanis Club of Batavia. Congratulations, Joe.
Thank you.
Investigator Darrell D. Sem began his career in law enforcement in 1973 as an officer with the City of Batavia Police Department and distinguished himself in that capacity until his promotion to investigator in 1980. As a member of the Detective Bureau, Investigator Sem has participated in virtually every major investigation undertaken by the Batavia Police Department during the past 12 years and has been the primary investigator in many cases and has played a pivotal role in most. His consistently high level of performance has been demonstrated by a successful clearance rate of serious crime cases, which is much higher than the national average. He is extremely knowledgeable in scientific and forensic and investigative techniques. Investigator Sem has received specialty training as an arson investigator and plays a significant role in the investigation of such cases. It has been Investigator Sem who carries the heaviest caseload in the department as primarily responsible for the success of the investigative unit over the years. Despite this, Investigator Sem remains a very personable individual and is well-liked by his co-workers. Darrell Sem is a 1970 graduate of Caledonia Mumford Central School and a 1972 graduate of Monroe Community College with an associate degree in police science. He resides in LeRoy with his wife and children. Please welcome, from the City of Batavia Police Department, Darrell D. Sem.
Congratulations.
1992 Officer of the Year in recognition to Investigator Darrell D. Sem, City of Batavia Police Department for exemplary service and dedication to the community, Kiwanis Club of Batavia. Congratulations, Darrell.
Thank you.
How about one more big hand for all these guys? They did a good job. Before we conclude this part of the program, I'd like to say something on a personal note. These past 2 years, it has been with great pride and satisfaction to have been delegated by my club to be chairman of this program. But I have to say that I'm equally proud of something else, and that is to have been a member of this honorable profession. And even though this program will continue each year, it will be the last time that I'll be doing it as a member of the law enforcement community. So I'd like to end it by saying that there is no greater nor more honorable profession than being a police officer. Thank you very much. One more thing. Someone else would like to say something also, probably a lot better than I could. So people, listen up. Let's be real careful out there.
From the old Bill Street Police.